In the house! You're surrounded! If you don't walk out that door unarmed in 10 seconds, we open fire! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last chance! Okay! Perforate it, boys!
Monsieur Hercule Poirot is a personal friend of mine. He has done a great service of the most secret and international importance to the government of Turkey. Now, he is suddenly summoned by the Prime Minister himself to return to Great Britain at once. I dined with him only last evening and promised him that I, Marcel Bourg, director of the train company, assures his friend's passage aboard this evening's train. Take my friend Poirot in charge, Mademoiselle Marceau. Secure a compartment of the highest comfort and see to his every wish. This office is depending upon you. Succeed, and I will consider the application for promotion you place on my desk week after week. Fail, and satisfy yourself with the position of clerk for the few short days you will remain in my employ.
Monsieur Poirot? All right, Antoinette. Here at last is the chance you've been waiting for. Your fate is in your own hands.
Monsieur Poirot? This stall sells knives and cutlery of all kinds, even razor-sharp scimitars. Buckets of dried figs, apricots, dates, raisins, and mulberry.
This fool tries to sell me a cleaver with no style or grace. Tell him which is the better cleaver for the hacking of meat.
The cleaver in your left hand.
Ah! Here at least is one who knows fine forged German steel when she sees it.
Monsieur Poirot? Monsieur Poirot? Sakeki Station, one of the most beautiful in all the world.
Now see here, Foscarelli, I've done my fair share of traveling. I'll tell you, Kataya tiles are the finest made in Turkey.
And I tell you, it is the enamel tiles from Iznik. These are the oldest and the most beautiful of the Ottoman Empire.
Well, they are quite impressive, to be sure, but the Kataya tiles are more beautiful. I'm sure there are examples sold here in this bazaar that would prove my point.
Gentlemen, please, may I get by?
What have we here?
Young lady, settle the dispute. You know the famous enameled ceramics?
Yes, of course, I live in Istanbul, but...
We have to wait here for our porter. Find us an example of a Kataya tile.
And an Iznik.
Just borrow them for a second. No need to buy any.
How dare you ask me such a question?
It's the principle of the thing, miss.
I don't have time for this.
Then permit us to continue the debate without you.
Every time I come to Sakeki, its beauty leaves me speechless. Fine hand-woven carpets and rugs. They look as if they truly might be able to fly like Aladdin's fabled carpet. Fine hand-woven carpets and rugs. This stall displays intricately hand-painted kataya bowls. The merchant seems to be watching the man next to me closely. Well, I'll just borrow this, but I must return it promptly. Boxes of tea from Turkey and Ceylon, herbal teas and thick, dark Turkish coffee.
Ah, she returns. Perhaps now we can settle this.
Did you bring us a kataya?
Or an iznik?
Here is a kataya bowl. It is the best, of course.
There. What did I tell you?
Thank you, young woman. Now we can turn our attention to more important things, like those fountains we were discussing earlier.
Monsieur Poirot? Let me pass.
Her Excellency has lost her parasol. We are searching for it to protect her from the sun, you see.
I beg your pardon, but I am in a great hurry.
Then you are an ignorant girl indeed. Go about your business.
Could this be the parasol?
But yes, Dankeschön, Fräulein. If your Excellency pleases, we should board the train.
I still must buy a bracelet for my arthritis, Schmidt. There is ample time yet for the train. Let this helpful young woman pass.
Oh, please, European miss. I have the train to Calais to catch, but I am so turned about in here. The heat, the foreign peoples. I pray for a guide, but it's frivolous and weak, and I know and God rightly does not grant these prayers.
If you'll come with me, I can take you to the train.
Oh, thank you. You are my guide that God sends to me. Yes, take me to the train, please. I must not be missing the train that leaves Istanbul on this day. I am Greta Olsen, matron to a small missionary school near the port of Gemlik. I nurse and instruct the children who have lost their way.
Sakeki Station's main entrance.
Hector, make sure the statue is safely on board before departure.
Yes, Mr. Ratchet.
Who do they sell this pottery to?
Tourists, I expect.
Huh. Well, at least the dust looks authentic.
Excuse us, please.
Well, hello.
Please, do not be stopping us. The train will be leaving without me.
French, right? Are you traveling with us this evening?
Yes, will you pardon us?
What's the rush? We have plenty of time. Fellow passengers and all. Plenty of time to get acquainted.
I really must insist you letting us past.
Insist some more. I like it when your eyes get all stormy like that.
Mr. Ratchet.
Did you hear a squeak?
If you don't let us pass immediately, I will see that you never travel on this line again.
Not that I think you could make that stick, but I'm willing to continue our chat later.
Sakeki Station's main entrance. Every time I pass through these doors, I feel the call of adventure. Sakeki is more than a train station. It is a work of art, all its own.
Mary.
Not now. Not now. When it's all over, when it's behind us, then...
Well, what are you waiting for? Don't let us stand in your way.
A beautifully crafted mosaic of a ram in full gallop suggests the power of the locomotive's engines. Sakeki is more than a train station. It is a work of art, all its own.
Tickets, please. No one may board the train without a ticket.
I must be making an inventory of my possessions. Everything. It gets lost.
I don't think she's in the mood for conversation. Posters of Istanbul's attractions welcome arriving passengers. I packed so quickly, I hope I remembered everything.
but I must travel this evening to London. It is of the most importance. My friend, Monsieur Bou, director of the line, assured me of a room aboard the Calais coach.
I am sorry, monsieur. It is incredible. It is off-season, yet the world elects to travel tonight. Not a single room remains.
Pardon me, messieurs. I'm Antoinette Marceau from the Istanbul office.
Are you quite well, Mademoiselle Marceau? You are flushed and winded.
I'm fine, really. It was something of a chore to catch up to the train.
But the train, it does not move.
Mademoiselle, please tell the gentleman the Calais coach is full.
What is your name?
Pierre Michel, mademoiselle.
I've seen your name on reports. Your record with the company is excellent.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Marceau. I always strive to do my very best for my passengers.
Then strive now, Michel.
Perhaps Monsieur could sit up in the salon car for the beginning of this journey?
Please give Monsieur Poirot room 16.
It is taken, mademoiselle.
But number 16 is always kept in reserve for such emergencies.
Nevertheless, tonight it is occupied by an American gentleman, a Monsieur Hartmann.
He does not sound like someone to be trifled with.
We must find a room for Monsieur Poirot.
Mademoiselle, if I could construct an additional compartment, I would.
Let me see your passenger manifest, please.
I have an extra plan of the Calais coach with all the passengers listed. Take it by all means. As you can see, every room is filled.
There are extra beds.
Only 2. In Mr. McQueen's room, but he has paid for a single. And Miss Olsen's room, but I hardly think Monsieur Poirot.
No, merci. I would not think of it.
Of course.
That will be all, Pierre. I have a fascination for crime, Monsieur Poirot.
You enjoy the study of it, I hope, not the committing.
Oh, the study, the gathering of clues, the questioning of suspects.
Merely what the Americans call the footwork.
Legwork, I believe, monsieur.
As you say, I prefer the detection that occurs here. The little Grace.
My scrapbook contains many accounts of your cases. That mysterious affair at Styles, the death of Roger Ackroyd, the noted businessman, Lord Edgeware's murder. But forgive me, I'm rambling. Give Monsieur Poirot my room. I will be quite comfortable in the salon car.
Mademoiselle Poirot, he will not hear of such a thing.
I insist. I will not compromise the hospitality of the train.
Oh, if I must turn you out, why then you will stay in the room of Miss Olsen. I am sure she will not mind when she learns of your secret.
No, really, it isn't necessary.
No. Poirot has spoken. The matter is settled.
I will speak to the lady at once.
Only after I'd chased you across 3 continents.
The statues in the baggage car?
Yes, I saw them loading the crate myself. They were very careful.
Huh. They better be. If it's damaged, I might enjoy owning a railroad. Who knows?
You travel often by train in your profession, mademoiselle?
Yes, I do.
You are a person most fortunate.
I'd rather fly.
Oh, mais non. Not for me are the aeroplanes, with their sudden changes of altitude and the capricious tossing about of the passengers by the weather très mauvais. No.
In business, speed is often more important than comfort.
No, it is more than the comfort. The trains, they lend themselves to the romance and the intrigue. All about us are people of all classes, of all nationalities, of all ages. They sleep and eat under one roof. They cannot get away from one another. And at the end of the 3 days, they part. They go their several ways, never perhaps to see each other again. For a few moments only, the skilled detective has the chance to study his fellow travelers, to watch their little stories unfold beneath the microscope of the trained eye.
Tell me what you see.
You as well, mademoiselle. We will make the little game of it, n'est-ce pas? One must look, one must listen at all times. If you were to listen at the door of any compartment, who knows what you may learn?
That would not be very proper, Monsieur Poirot.
Proper? The student of crime must also be the student of human nature. Oh, what better way to make the study? I will illustrate. Mademoiselle Marceau, you are facing the entire car, whereas Poirot, he sits with his back to most and is only observed upon entering. Start with the table farthest away, the 3 ladies. Tell me about them.
One is a Swedish missionary from a school near Gemlik on the Bosporus. She is also very uncomfortable in unfamiliar surroundings and gets lost easily.
That is truly wonderful. How did you arrive at this?
I helped her find the train inside the train station.
Well, it is an important lesson, that. When you know the facts, why bother with the clues?
The older woman with the loud voice is American. Even with the length of the car between us, one can tell that.
Well, it is true what you say. And yet, she seems to be a woman quite amiable and without malice.
The younger woman is British from her accent. She seems very capable and down to earth. If we'd been at school together, I believe we would have been friends.
Oui, she has a strong character, that one. Perhaps the strongest among us. But she is a mystery nonetheless.
Why do you say that?
You observed her embrace of the most passionate kind with a proper English gentleman this afternoon?
Yes, I did. Very un-English of both of them.
As you say. And yet now she sits at another table, indifferent to him and his glances.
Lovers quarrel?
What can have happened in so short a time for the lovebirds to fly from the light into the darkness? A good beginning. And what is there to say about the tanned British gentleman?
He has spent much time in the tropics.
Oui, some far-flung corner of the British Empire. India, perhaps.
He's not as proper as he looks.
Or he is so in love, it breaks down all the inhibitions.
They are married, but not to one another.
What did she say to him? Huh? Not now. Not now. When it is behind us, then.
They are waiting for the divorce to be final.
Perhaps.
Military, I would say, from the way he carries himself.
Very good. Tanned, military. A posting in Egypt, perhaps? Or India? And now the grand lady who sits alone.
I'd say royalty, a princess. Russian, probably.
Oh, no. You will not play the same trick on Poirot twice. Alors, she too you have met?
I did a small service for her earlier today.
She has the very grim exterior, that one, but there is something about her, huh? A twinkle in the eye, perhaps? No, I think she is not quite so much the dragon as she appears. Alors, and across from her sits?
Hildegard Schmidt. Yes, I met her too. Quite unpleasant for a lady's maid. They're usually such mild creatures.
Vraiment? She also has sent her plate back to the chef twice for adjustments. Very particular about the cuisine. It would be nice if the menu was more varied. We march. This large table nearest the kitchen now, with the three gentlemen. What can you see?
The American appears to be a commercial traveler of some sort.
Wait, he carried the sample case when he boarded the train. Yet, I wonder. The case, it was quite small. Yet he seems very fit, does he not? The suit of such questionable taste, he can barely contain the muscles.
Can't a commercial traveler be athletic?
C'est possible.
The Italian sells motor cars. He's very enthusiastic about cars in general.
Oui, a salesman to his very soul, I would say.
The Englishman is very quiet.
He certainly does not share the enthusiasm for conversation of his companions. A superior sort, with a disapproving expression. That suggests nothing to you?
I'm afraid not.
A gentleman's gentleman, as the British would say.
A valet. Yes, I can see him pressing trousers and shining shoes.
And now, as discreetly as possible, observe the young couple directly behind me.
The man is very handsome, aristocratic. He dresses as an Englishman, but his accent is Hungarian, I think.
Oui, a diplomat, I believe, fiercely in love.
Fiercely?
The man who makes the unwanted advances to his young wife would suffer for it.
Her dress is exquisite, very expensive, and the jewels. Ah, she's lovely, the kind of woman a man would marry and lavish gifts upon.
It is very romantic, is it not? And yet I detect a melancholy in your voice, mademoiselle.
I'm sorry, I expect it's jealousy. I grew up in Jucar, a small town near Avignon. My parents wanted me to stay in Jucar and marry well, but I rebelled.
Ah.
Have you never rebelled, Monsieur Poirot?
These days, not so much, I fear. Rebellion, it is for the young.
I went to England too, to university, then out here to Istanbul. I wanted to get as far away from Jucar as I could. I wanted mystery, adventure, romance. I became a clerk. No mystery, no adventure, and certainly no time for romance.
Poirot is not so much the expert on romance. Yet mystery and adventure may be closer than you think. And now, to the last table, where the older gentleman has been glancing this way throughout dinner.
The older man's name is Ratchet, an American. Very coarse and brutish, despite the fine clothes and table manners. He forced his attentions on me in the bazaar today. I think he's been trying to renew the attempt all through dinner. He keeps looking this way.
Most would see the smiling round face with the pink cheeks and the brilliantly white teeth that are false and say, there sits a benevolent personality indeed.
There is no smile in his eyes.
No, there is a dark fever in them. Not a benevolent man, not a nice man at all. And forgive me, mademoiselle, but I do not think that he has been watching you. Poirot is the unfortunate victim of his interest this evening.
The younger American man is named Hector something. I like him. He seems very open and pleasant. He's Mr. Ratchet's secretary, I believe, but I don't think he's very happy in the position.
Perhaps an acquaintance worth cultivating for an attractive young lady traveling alone?
Monsieur Poirot, I would never be so forward.
Oh, but it is 1934, mademoiselle. Young ladies are forward. Even those from Jucar.
Hector, I'm not having dessert.
I thought I might try the...
You go get started on those letters I dictated.
But I...
Yes, sir. I think I have the pleasure of speaking to Monsieur Hercule Poirot.
You have been correctly informed, monsieur.
My name's Ratchet. In my country, we come to the point quickly. Mr. Poirot, I want you to take on a job for me. It means big money. Big money. I'm a rich man. Rich men have enemies. I have an enemy.
Only one enemy?
Just what do you mean by that?
Monsieur, in my experience, when a man he is in a position to have, as you say, the enemies, then it does not usually resolve itself into one enemy alone.
I appreciate your point. Enemy or enemies, it doesn't matter. What matters is my safety. My life has been threatened, Monsieur Poirot. I'm used to taking pretty good care of myself. I'm not the kind of man to be caught napping, but you'll be extra insurance.
I regret, monsieur. I cannot oblige you.
Name your price.
I have been very fortunate in my profession, monsieur. I have made enough money to satisfy both my needs and my caprices. I take now only such cases as interest me.
What's wrong with my proposition?
If you will forgive me for being personal, I do not like your face, Monsieur Ratchet.
Train company employee. I have checked the baggage car for the supplies I ordered to be delivered here in Belgrade. There is no bacon. I will not make a breakfast tomorrow without the bacon. My reputation is at stake. Find me my bacon or I leave the train here and you can cook all the meals yourself.
Train company employee? I suppose it wouldn't hurt to look around. Belgrade. This will be a brief stop to take on supplies, mail, and to add the Athens-Paris coach. There will be few, if any, passengers in this weather. Quite interesting. Belgrade Station. Not quite the splendor of Sakeki, but it is practical and serves its purpose well. Belgrade Station. The fountain looks rather forlorn in this weather. Belgrade Station.
Bloody awful weather.
The train better get moving soon. The passes west of here fill with snow pretty fast. Back in '29, there was a train trapped up there for a week.
Ah, Colonel Arbuthnot, isn't it? And Mr. McQueen.
That's right. Say, you're the company representative, aren't you? I heard there was one on the train.
Is there anyone in the station?
Only people we've seen were an attendant and a passenger, I think. They boarded that coach they're adding to the train. Then somebody turned out the station lights. It's the Athens-Paris coach, I think. Mr. Ratchet and I travel this route quite a bit.
Yes, well, I've all the fresh air I need, if you'll excuse me.
I'll be getting along then, too. Don't want to hold us up.
The architecture of the station is unremarkable, to say the least. The attendant I saw boarding the restaurant car came through this gate. I suppose that woman was seeing him off. It is frustrating not to know what it says. The engineer and firemen are keeping the steam well up.
This is our company representative from Istanbul? A woman?
Mademoiselle Marceau, this is Taït, our engineer.
Do you speak Serbian?
I am a Turk. Why would I speak Serbian?
Can you read Serbian?
A little. The manifests from Belgrade are in Serbian.
Could you read some tags on the Prague luggage truck for me?
Yes, of course.
Company representative or not, get aboard my train or I will leave without you.
That appears to be a box of golf balls. That is, I believe, toilet paper, mademoiselle. From the looks of it, that crate contains more carrot juice than Prague will ever need. Slanina, we have found Klaus's bacon, Mademoiselle Marceau.
Will you take it to him so we can get underway?
At once.
I do not protest the addition of you in my room, miss. You have helped me, and I am glad of the company, and I am a Christian lady whose heart is filled with charity.
Fine, that's settled then.
But I have already been picking out the lower bunk for me, because I am afraid of the heights and the sudden stops of trains, and I would not like to return to the children broken.
The upper bunk will do fine for me. I'll look forward to the adventure.
And now, miss, excuse me, please. I will go to the WC, as you call it.
I was educated in England, but I'm French.
Oh? I was educated in Sweden, and I'm Swedish. You call it the toilet? Am I going to the toilet?
Mademoiselle Olsen, how you spend the next few minutes of your life is entirely your own private affair.
Yeah, it is.
One must look, one must listen at all times. If you were to listen at the door of any compartment, who knows what you may learn?
I'm still not sure I agree in principle, but perhaps I'd best give it a go. The weather looks quite threatening.
That guy is the most stuck-up human being I've ever met, even for an Englishman.
Ratchet's a valet?
Yeah, master. I'm glad I'm not traveling in the same room with him.
Oh, I like everybody. And him, he is as quiet as a little mouse.
You're welcome to him, that's my view. Deal the cards.
But look here, Colonel, your policy in India is obviously self-defeating. You can't keep it as a colony forever, you know.
I don't see why not.
You probably wouldn't have seen why not back in 1776, but America is free as a bird now.
And suffering through one of the worst economic depressions in history, I believe.
You're not seriously suggesting that if the United States had remained a colony of England, we could have avoided a depression?
I don't see why not.
Whatever you're reading appears to distress you.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, Rudolph, it is a nightmare.
I know how hard all of this is for you. The only good thing about nightmares is that eventually we wake up.
Will you help me to be strong?
You are stronger than I, dearest. You have been through so much more.
My love, my love, my love.
Mr. Snagsby is dismayed to see, standing with an attentive face between himself and the lawyer at a little distance from the table, a person with a hat and a stick in his hand, who was not there when he himself came in and has not since entered by the door or by either of the windows. Yet this third person stands there with his attentive face and his hat and his stick in his hands and his hands behind him, a composed and quiet listener. He is a stoutly built, steady-looking, sharp-eyed man in black, of about middle age, except that he looks at Mr. Snagsby as if he were going to take his portrait. There is nothing remarkable about him at first sight but his ghostly manner of appearing.
Enough, Schmidt. Detectives are not so superhuman as Mr. Dickens suggests. They are as human as you or I. Now, I will rest for a short while.
Yes, Your Excellency.
It's completely quiet in there.
Mademoiselle, what are you doing?
Michel, you startled me. I'm testing. Monsieur Boost tells me there have been complaints from passengers that the compartments are not as soundproof as they might be, so I am testing to see if improvements can be made.
You are certainly being very thorough, mademoiselle.
The decor has a pronounced floral motif. I would expect nothing less than this exquisite work on the most luxurious train in the world. These etchings are masterful. I think I see where he went. I'll follow him at a distance.
Were you following me, Mademoiselle Marceau?
I saw the baggage car door was unlocked and I thought I should check.
I was collecting some biscuits and an extra blanket for Princess Dragomirov.
Ah, good. That is the explanation, then.
May I suggest you return to the Calais coach, mademoiselle? I'll lock up here.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Pardon me, mademoiselle.
The door is locked. This wash basin is shared by the two connecting rooms. This wash basin is shared. Nothing to find here. Hello, Greta. Where have you been?
I am giving the headache powder to the American lady, Mrs. Hubbard. I do not think travel is suiting her the way it does you, and I miss.
I should return to my sleeping compartment.
Uninjured, Schmidt. Please stop your fussing.
Everyone, please. The pass is blocked with snow, nothing more.
Nothing more, he says. Nothing more? I can tell you there will be plenty more when I get in touch with my attorneys. American trains don't slam on the brakes in the middle of the night.
I expect they would if they were about to plow into a wall of snow.
I am afraid we may be here for some time. But this has happened before.
Happened before, has it? What kind of a way is this to run a railroad, I ask you?
At least the worst is over.
Monsieur Poirot, I'm so sorry. I apologize for the train company, for Monsieur Booth, and for me personally.
Calm yourself, Mademoiselle Marceau. I hold none of you at fault, not even the engineer, who undoubtedly saved us from being buried by the avalanche.
You have sprained your ankle.
It is not Poirot who has sprained his ankle, mademoiselle. It is the train who has sprained it.
Yeah, the reason I do not sleep in the upper berths is to avoid pain.
Perhaps I should have slept on the floor. Thank you both for your attentions. If you would now please to allow me to suffer alone.
If you like.
What can the children of her school be learning?
Was that a cry?
Yes, I think it was.
First, the snow is trapping us. Then, the old Belgian man injures himself. Now what?
No need to be alarmed. Let me have a look first.
Ce n'est rien. Je me suis trompé.
Bien, monsieur.
Is there drama or calamity?
It was Monsieur Ratchet, but he is well.
Then let us hurry back to sleep.
there you are. I've been ringing and ringing.
I beg your pardon, madame. Voulez-vous quelque chose? You require?
There is a man in my compartment.
But madame, as you can see, there is nowhere a man could hide himself.
I woke up and a man was there. I felt it.
You say yourself, madame, that your door was bolted. How did he enter? How did he depart?
Avalanches, intruders. What's next?
What now? Michelle, who was the woman in the scarlet kimono?
I am sorry, mademoiselle. I was updating the inventory of the Calais coach supplies. I did not see her face.
Has anything unusual occurred?
Well, there was the avalanche, of course. Later, Madame Hubbard insisted she saw a man in her room, but I could find no one.
Did you hear a thud a moment before I appeared just now?
No, I heard nothing, mademoiselle. Perhaps it was in the compartment next to yours, Monsieur Poirot, perhaps.
Has anyone been up and about?
Only you and the other lady. It has been quiet for some time.
What compartment did she come out of?
I am not sure. One of the rooms in the middle of the car, I think. Madame Hubbard's, perhaps, or Monsieur Rachette. By the time I noticed her, she was moving away from me.
My daughter said it would be the easiest way in the world. Just sit in the train till I got to Paris. But now we may be here for days and days. And my boat sails day after tomorrow. How am I going to catch it now? I can't even wire to cancel my passage. I feel too mad to talk about it.
My sister, her children wait for me. What will they be thinking? They will be thinking bad things have happened to me.
I have business in Milano. A very rich gentleman with his eye on an Alfa Romeo designed by Enzo Ferrari himself. If I am late, I may lose the sale.
Say, you never said what line you were in.
That is very true. I didn't.
We may be here for days. Back in 29, there was a train trapped in the snow like this for a week. The passengers almost starved. I'm told they hunted wolves for food.
There's always cannibalism, of course. I remember one time up near Kashmir, I say. Old man, are you going to eat those rashers of bacon? They're quite nice.
What country is this anyway?
Yugoslavia, I believe.
Oh, one of those Balkan things. What can you expect?
You work for the train company? Yes, but there isn't much I can do, I'm afraid. They'll send out a plow train from Broad. It's standard procedure. I don't blame you. There's nothing anyone can do. Monsieur Poirot is right, Mary. Oh? He said you are the strongest character among us. I agree.
Oh no. No, indeed. I know one far, far stronger than I am.
Who? Michelle, you look almost ill. What is wrong?
Pardon-moi. Mademoiselle Marceau, Monsieur Poirot requests you come to his compartment at once.
What has happened, Monsieur Poirot?
Murder, mademoiselle, of the most savage nature. I have ordered all of the train doors to the outside to be sealed, with the exception of the rear door of the Athens-Paris coach, so that the engineer and fireman of the train may keep the engine's boiler provided with the coal. It would become very cold in here otherwise without the steam heat. The attendant...
His name is Matteo, I believe.
Matteo will inform us immediately if anyone else attempts to depart the train. Fortunately, the only passenger in the Athens-Paris coach is Dr. Constantine here. He has examined the body. Doctor, Mademoiselle Marceau represents the owners of this train. You may speak freely.
Oh no! Who has been killed?
Monsieur Ratchet. So what shall we do, mademoiselle?
Monsieur Poirot, I appeal to you. We cannot wait for the Yugoslavian police.
They will detain us all for weeks while they trample evidence and bluster about with no idea how to solve a murder. If only we were in Greece.
Take command of the investigation.
Oh, must I?
We both know the longer a crime goes uninvestigated, the more difficult it becomes to solve.
Ah, yes, of course, I remember. You are the student of crime. And what you say is very true. All the same.
You can be on your way to your important case in England. We can avoid delays, annoyances, and 1,000,001 inconveniences for all the passengers.
I am addressing an important medical conference in London in 2 days.
Oui, c'est vrai. Any additional delay would be difficult.
Monsieur Poirot, my job isn't much, but it's all I have. The avalanche, your injury, now a murder. If it isn't solved, I will lose my job.
No, you cannot be blamed. I will have a word with Marcel. You have my guarantee that he will not fire you.
Solve the mystery. All we need say when the police arrive is, here is the murderer.
Mademoiselle, use your own powers of observation. Alors Poirot, he is confined to bed in the most serious of pain. How can he take command of anything?
In my scrapbook, I have a quote from you. How does it go? To solve a case, a man has only to sit back in a chair and think. Use the little grey cells of your mind.
I have often used the murderer's own words to spring my trap. And now I am caught by my own. Well done. Eh bien, mademoiselle, I will do what I can. I ask only that you do my legwork. This would appeal to you, I think.
You know it would.
I will issue to you the challenge I once made to my friend Captain Hastings. Accept, and we will play a little game between ourselves. You will need to use your own little grey cells as much as Poirot. And in the end, we will see if the student of crime is ready to graduate. Refuse? I will guide your investigations much more. Either way, the crime, it will be solved. It is an important decision you must make now, before we proceed. I will not ask again. Do you accept?
I am honored. I gladly accept the challenge.
Excellent. Now, if you reach an impasse, think only, what would Poirot do? Imagine that I am there beside you, offering counsel. It may help. So, we begin. Dr. Constantine, take her next door.
I did not close the window despite the chill. I thought there might be fingerprints, and the cold, of course, helps preserve the body.
Regardez, mademoiselle.
I won't find anything else in there. Nothing else to see in there. Oh dear! Someone must have stood there and stabbed him again and again.
There is something in the pocket of his pajamas. Something heavy. I did not disturb it.
Egg!
115. That agrees with my calculations.
There is something in the pocket.
I won't find anything else in there. Nothing else to see in there. Has anything been disarranged in this compartment?
No, mademoiselle. I was careful not to move the body in making my examination.
How many wounds are there, Doctor?
I make it 12 wounds. 1 or 2 are so slight as to be mere scratches. On the other hand, at least 3 would be capable of causing death.
Some wounds seem to have bled more than others.
You see these 2 wounds, here and here. They are deep. Each cut must have severed blood vessels, and yet the edges do not gape. They have not bled as one would have expected.
Ratchet was already dead when those were delivered?
Some little time dead.
The murderer returned to make certain Ratchet was dead?
The idea is an absurdity, of course. Even one with no medical knowledge would have been able to tell the man was already quite dead.
The wounds are scattered all over the torso.
Yes, and you see this wound here, under the right arm, near the right shoulder. Could you deliver such a blow? I have a pencil if you would like to try it.
That won't be necessary.
How do you account for it?
A left-handed murderer could strike there easily.
But of course, that blow was almost certainly struck with the left hand. Yet some of these blows are just as obviously right-handed.
Ratchet thrashed about as he was dying?
On the contrary, he lay completely composed. The bedsheets are not disarrayed at all.
The murderer had unusually long arms?
Please let us not stray into the land of Poe with his murderous apes stuffing young girls up chimneys. I know something of apes. They kill by pummeling or crushing, not whittling away at their victim.
Tell me something about the force of the blows.
Some were struck with a terrible ferocity as to drive the knife through hard belts of bone and muscle. Yet others seem to be haphazard and at random, glancing off, doing hardly any damage.
Someone striking with their eyes shut? In a blind frenzy?
And struck so many times with their eyes closed to make sure they had managed to hit a vital organ or two?
Perhaps the killer was uncertain at first, then was overcome with a bloodlust.
Or perhaps the killer tired of his exertions, weakening, yet still enjoying himself too much to leave off.
Could there be 2 murderers?
Perhaps. Some blows could have been struck by a strong man or very athletic woman. Others are weak. A frail woman, perhaps.
Can you estimate the time of death?
It is difficult to say exactly in these matters. The open window, the cold, you understand, complicates an estimate. But I think I can say definitely that death occurred between midnight and 2 in the morning.
That will do for now, Doctor.
The man was armed? It is bizarre. Why did he not defend himself?
Monsieur Poirot.
The object was already dead when those were delivered. The murderer returned to make certain Ratchet was dead. The murderer had unusually long arms. Ratchet thrashed the bank as he was gone, and what kind of murderer could easily strike her? Someone striking with their eyes shut in a blind frenzy. Perhaps the fellow was unfortunate though, then overcome with a bloodlust. Could there be two murderers?
And that is everything I've discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Now, let us see what we can learn.
The wounds tell too many different stories.
Oui, the matter begins to clear itself up wonderfully. The murderer was a man of great strength. He was feeble, it was a woman, it was a right-handed person, it was a left-handed person. Ah, c'est rigolo tout ça. And the victim, what does he do in all this? Does he cry out? Does he struggle? Does he defend himself? No. He awaits his doom with the greatest composure.
The box of matches suggests the round one belonged to Monsieur Ratchet.
I concur.
The pipe cleaner and the handkerchief are good clues.
Possibly. What can we learn from them?
The gun was unfired.
He would certainly have defended himself if he had been able. For now, it might be better if you keep the gun with you for your protection. I would not like our collaboration cut short prematurely.
Remember the bottle I found in the suitcase?
Oui, a sleeping draught, and the bottle half empty. It would be instructive to learn if Ratchet took his usual dosage last night.
What of the residue in the tumbler? A sleeping powder, perhaps, such as that I found in the suitcase. It might explain why Monsieur Ratchet did not cry out when he was attacked.
A possibility. However, in my experience, the usual dose of a sleeping draught would not be strong enough to prevent awakening if one were violently attacked.
The broken watch tells us the time of death exactly.
Very convenient, the broken watches.
1:15, well within Dr. Constantine's estimate of midnight to 2 a.m.
What you say is true.
Are the false teeth important?
Only to one who must wear them. And why you took for yourself the false teeth of the dead man is not for Poirot to ask. But I hope they prove themselves as useful to you as they undoubtedly did to him.
The small metal statuette. It is very old.
And possibly quite valuable. Take it with you. Learn more of it if you can.
The footprints outside the window are important.
What did they say to you?
The killer may have fled the train.
And gone where? Still, they must be investigated.
I found the inscription REV 1318 printed on the hatband of his hat.
A curious inscription indeed for the hat.
I found only the cigar in the ashtray. No pipe.
Certainly, this is a clue masculine. Monsieur Ratchet smokes the cigar, lighting it with a round match, and someone else, still to be determined, smokes the pipe, lighting it with a flat match.
The letter H can help us find the owner of the handkerchief.
A clue feminine, so dainty, and to have the letter embroidered upon it is so convenient. One cannot complain of having no clues in this case.
If a man killed Ratchet...
After the sociable smoke?
Then the woman came in later, not noticing he was dead, and attacked him as well.
Also, not noticing that she had dropped her handkerchief. Very fortunate for us that she was so unobservant.
The burnt paper could be significant.
What strikes you as most important?
What was burnt and why?
Précisément.
But the paper is impossible to read.
It is possible that some of the writing on the paper can be made legible again if the scrap can be protected, flattened, and held firmly in place while the heat is applied. I will need something with which to handle the paper most delicately, 2 objects of metal netting that we can place it between, and a source of constant heat. Collect for me these items, and we will see what we shall see.
I should look for the items Monsieur Poirot needs to read the burnt scrap of paper.
no, this hat frame will not work. It is not of the proper type. This is the wrong kind of hat frame. Think, Mademoiselle Marceau. It must be made of the wire mesh. Quite interesting. Regardez, mademoiselle.
It's locked fast. Splendid. I'll put this into my scrapbook so I can take a closer look at it later. That will do nicely. This looks like a puzzle box. Let me see if I can get it open. The door is locked.
A single pipe smoker aboard, and all roads lead to him.
I won't find anything else in there.
Regardez, mademoiselle.
I wouldn't like to try that while company is about. The curling tongs have the burnt paper firmly but delicately in their grip. I have everything I need to read the paper.
That is most pleasing.
I have all the pieces. All that remains is for me to assemble them properly. The paper holder is now in place. Now on to securing a heat source.
Daisy Armstrong, c'est ça. I now know the real name of the dead man. And I know why he had to leave America.
Monsieur Poirot, I have documented that case in my scrapbook.
The police refused to believe the hysterical denials of the poor girl, hoping she might lead them to Cassetti. In a fit of despair, the poor girl threw herself from a window and was killed. It was proved afterwards that she was absolutely innocent of any complicity in the crime. Cassetti was the man, there can be no doubt. He had used the same methods in the past, hired men down on their luck to do the dangerous work, but taking most of the ransom for himself, and always killing the victim if the police were closing in. He had many enemies, that one.
I cannot regret that he is dead.
I agree with you, mademoiselle.
Still, it is not necessary that he should be killed aboard one of our trains. There are other places.
Indeed, the investigation continues. And we progress, no? And now is the time for the assembling of the evidence. Collect all passports, gather information about our suspects, seek out any clues, follow every possible trail.